What are you working on now? Like what is something that you're trying to muddle through and working on that you're really struggling with?
I
And
can answer that one really well.
Oh yeah.
Really well in terms
what
of
can't you play?
in terms of struggling or working really hard on. About a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years now, I got it in my mind that I would start learning a melody instrument that is appropriate for traditional music, Irish traditional music. And a buddy of mine, Matthew Autry, I worked with him to design and build a bouzouki. Now the bouzouki is, you kind of imagine a giant mandolin, a guitar-sized mandolin.
And this is the Irish bouzouki,
the Irish
which
bouzouki.
was inspired by the Greek bouzouki in at some folk festival in the 1960s. So it's a really recent instrument, but it works really well for Irish music.
Yeah, and it has a voice that lends itself very well to actually playing melody, like the violin does, or fiddle rather. So, and because that is tuned very similarly to the tenor banjo, I picked one of those up as well. So I'm working on both of those, just for my own enjoyment, but also to bring, when I'm ready, I'll bring them to the band, and then Sarah will take a break being the lead melody instrument, which is a lot of
We have
energy.
a lot more arrangement. If we have two melody instruments, we have a lot more arrangement possibilities because you follow the melody, which means that they can riff off me, but I can only go so far from the melody on my own before everyone else gets screwed up.
So it gives Sarah a lot of freedom, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. But I'm furiously trying to catch up because I'm trying to, when I do perform with the band, I want to sound like I've been playing for 5, even though I might be only playing for 2 or 3.
And for me, it's just new tunes. It's always learning new tunes. What's the ones we recently put together? So the first one was, I've known that one a year or so. And the second one I've known for ages. But putting them together is always another artistic challenge, is how do I want to combine stuff.
A transition. Cool.
I have a question.
Question?
What has learning music, different instruments, different styles of music, as you go through that learning process and struggle and have successes and setbacks at times, what does that teach about yourselves? Or what has music taught you about yourselves?
Huh.
And how you learn?
It's kind of weird because I've been playing fiddle I've been playing violin, some version of this instrument, and violin and fiddle are the same instrument. It's the style that makes the difference. I've been playing it since I was 9, so I don't have a lot of clear memories of before playing music to compare it to, but I also draw, and I've definitely taken lessons from how I practice this instrument to how I do an entirely different art, because after overthinking it for ages and ages, there's 2 parts of practice, and one is doing the thing until you make a breakthrough or figure out something better, and then the next part is repeating it until you remember to do that cool thing you figured out. So that's, okay, you work out the rough spots, and then you keep working it because until the rough spots won't come back. And the same happens when you've got a new thing. If you put everything down, I hit a new thing and I'm going to put stuff down, you won't remember it next time you pick it up. And I have to teach myself that with art.
For me, it's all a matter of learning new instruments, or even just keeping up with things that I know, kind of like puts the zoom on everything else in my life. I need to, and I just mentioned learning the bouzouki and the tenor banjo. I've been trying to do minimum an hour, sometimes 2 hours a day. And to cut that out of a schedule where you're working 40 hours a week and everything else that can come up in life, it really shows you, it shows me rather, how I'm managing my time. Because it's very easy to get involved in stuff, and all of a sudden I go home and it's after 9 o'clock, and do I really want to practice for 2 hours? And not get enough sleep for work the next morning, or like that. It brings that into question
Usually
all
shows
the
me
time.
it usually shows me I'm not managing my time, but I practice way less than he does. He's trying to learn 2 new instruments at the moment.
Mhm.
I've been playing this for, what did I say? 24. I've been playing the instrument for 24 years. So for me, I should be practicing more than I do, but 45 minutes is usually my helpful chunk of time. And even if you do 15 minutes,
Yeah,
that's helpful.
better than
What
nothing.
what I think is most useful to remember about practicing is that even if your practicing sucked, at least you picked the thing up and did something. It's like, what you do in the moment does not have to be art. It's the working of it.
And also, in the focusing on what you say, what did you learn about yourself? And that is that you could just have an off, like everyone has off days, bad hair days or whatever. I could have a bad guitar day, and I sit down to practice, and I'm just furiously focused, and I'm not doing it right. And just not going, just relaxing, taking a deep breath, maybe going somewhere and then coming back to the instrument and the practice. And it really shows you how short your fuse might be at a particular moment, that's for sure.
Right.